Coco, aspiring musician Miguel, confronted with his family's ancestral ban on music, enters the land of the dead to find his great-great-grandfather, a legendary singer. Despite his family's baffling generations-old ban on music, Miguel dreams of becoming an accomplished musician like his idol, Ernesto de la Cruz. Desperate to prove his talent, Miguel finds himself in the stunning and colorful land of the dead following a mysterious chain of events. Along the way, he meets charming trickster Hector, and together, they set off on an extraordinary journey to unlock the real story behind Miguel's family history. Young Miguel simply loves music, but his family has a mysterious ban on anyone from their clan performing music. The ban dates back for many generations, yet Miguel dreams of becoming an accomplished musician, just like his idol, Ernesto de la Cruz. Longing to prove his musical talents, Miguel finds himself in the technicolor land of the dead. Along his way, he meets the charming trickster Hector, and together, they set out to find the real story behind his family's mysterious ban on music. Rebellious Miguel, a 12-year-old Mexican boy and hopeful musician, can't understand the family's continuing ban on all music, especially when his icon and the greatest guitar player ever, the deceased Ernesto de la Cruz, is the town's hero. However, when an inadvertent mistake on the sacred Day of the Dead magically transports Miguel to the distant and bustling land of the dead, the scoundrel skeleton, Hector, will lead the way through the vibrant underworld to help the young trespasser find a missing ancestor. But can they do it before sunrise? In Santa Cecilia, Mexico, Imelda Rivera was the wife of a musician who left her and their 3-year-old daughter Coco to pursue a career in music. She banned music in the family and opened a shoemaking family business. 96 years later, her great-great-grandson, 12-year-old Miguel, now lives with Coco and their family. He secretly dreams of becoming a musician like Ernesto de la Cruz, a popular actor and singer of Coco's generation. One day, Miguel inadvertently damages the photo of Coco with her parents at the center of the family ofrenda and removes it, discovering that her father, whose face is torn out, was holding Ernesto's famous guitar. Concluding that Ernesto is his great-great-grandfather, Miguel ignores his grandmother Elena's objections and leaves to enter a talent show for the Day of the Dead. He enters Ernesto's mausoleum and steals his guitar to use in the show, but becomes invisible to everyone in the village plaza. However, he can see and be seen by his Xoloitzcuintli dog Dante and his skeletal dead relatives who are visiting from the land of the dead for the holiday. Taking him there, they realize that Imelda cannot visit, as Miguel removed her photo from the ofrenda. Discovering that he is cursed for stealing from the dead, to do so he must receive a blessing from a member of his family using an Aztec marigold petal that can undo the curse placed upon him by stealing Ernesto's guitar. Imelda offers Miguel a blessing, but on the condition that he abandon his musical pursuits. When he returns to the land of the living, Miguel refuses and attempts to seek Ernesto's blessing. Miguel encounters Hector, a down-on-his-luck skeleton who once played with Ernesto and offers to help Miguel reach him. In return, Hector asks Miguel to take his photo back to the land of the living so he can visit his daughter before she forgets him, and he disappears completely. Hector attempts to return Miguel to his relatives, but Miguel escapes and infiltrates Ernesto's mansion, learning along the way that an old friendship between the two deteriorated before Hector's death. Ernesto welcomes Miguel as his descendant, but Hector confronts them, imploring Miguel to take his photo. Miguel soon realizes that Ernesto murdered Hector using a poisoned drink and stole the songs he had written, passing them off as his own to become famous. To maintain his legacy, Ernesto steals the photo and has Miguel and Hector thrown into a cenote pit. Miguel realizes that Hector is his actual great-great-grandfather and that Coco is Hector's daughter, the only living person who still remembers him. Miguel reveals that Hector's decision to return home to her and Coco resulted in his death, and Imelda and Hector reconcile. They infiltrate Ernesto's sunrise concert to retrieve Hector's photo from Ernesto and expose his crimes. Ernesto is crushed by a falling church bell as in his previous life. but the photo falls into the water and disappears. As the sun rises, Hector is in danger of being forgotten by Coco and disappearing. Imelda blesses Miguel with no conditions attached so he can return to the land of the living, where he plays a song for Coco that Hector wrote for her during her childhood. The song sparks her memory of Hector and revitalizes her, and she gives Miguel the torn-out piece of the photo from the ofrenda, which shows Hector's face. Elena reconciles with Miguel, accepting both him and music back into the family. 1 year later, Miguel proudly presents the family ofrenda, featuring a photo of the now-deceased Coco and the restored photo of Hector and Imelda to his new baby sister. Letters kept by Coco contain evidence that Ernesto stole Hector's songs. As a result, Ernesto's legacy is destroyed, and the community honors Hector instead. In the land of the dead, Hector and Imelda join Coco for a visit to the living Riveras, as Miguel sings and plays for his dead and living relatives.